Barkley.
Can you hear me, guys? Good morning, good morning. How are we doing this morning? Faceless Melancholy, the Macabre, Zacho Green. Hello, hello, how are we? Yes, Macabre, definitely sad. Rest in peace, Anne Rice. That was some horrible news to hear this morning. Definitely some horrible news to hear this morning. And everything looks good here. You guys able to hear me? Hi, Hundar, how are you? I am going to bring on George Michail here very, very shortly. Happy Sunday, blessed. I wanted to make sure everyone could hear me properly. Little weirdness going on with electronics this morning, but how are you doing, Hundar? How are you, blessed? Make sure you're on live chat, guys. Live chat and not top chat. I am going to bring George Michail on, writer of Cover of Darkness. We've had him on the show a few times already, and I'm excited to bring him on to chit-chat about horror. Perfect. Everything sounds great. Awesome. I am going to bring George Michail on right meow. Hi, Rock Pit. All right. They should be able to hear and see you, hopefully.
Hello. Hey, how's it going?
Good morning. How are you doing? I know it's early for you. It's like 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah. I had a big night last night, too, out at the bar, so it's trying to sober up this morning.
Oh, no, and I have you up at 8:30 in the friggin' morning to sit and chit-chat horror.
I kind of like that our backgrounds are like the exact opposite. You've got all this scary stuff, and I've got my daughter's bedroom.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
No, we've got some company staying with us, and my office is in my bedroom. It's like in my walk-in closet. So I was like, my daughter is away at her grandmother's house for a sleepover. So I'm like, oh, just come in here and record.
Why not, right? It's quiet. You don't have to worry about anything. Your camera is frozen for me. Is it frozen for you on your end?
No.
Is it frozen for anybody else? Yeah. Let's see if we can refresh the camera. I'm not sure. We don't normally have these issues, but hey, why not? Yeah, it's weird. It's frozen on our end and my end here.
Okay, well, let me move to a different spot of the house.
All right.
Sorry.
No, don't even apologize. We're live. Anything can happen, right?
I'm excited to get into this with you, though. Like I've prepared like a list of all the horror movies I've seen this year.
Right on.
Yeah. So I've seen 18, and I've ranked them.
Oh, awesome. I cannot wait to hear your 18 movies, especially ranked-wise. Rockpit, good morning. Brian, good morning. Regal, Dark Psycho, I hope everyone's having a good morning. Yeah, it's weird because I tried to refresh your camera on my end, but it doesn't refresh, but it's frozen in Skype as well. Which is weird. Because it wasn't freezing yesterday. You just saw it flicker? Yeah, it's weird. We did an audio video test yesterday and everything was fine. It is pretty bad weather here, but I don't know how that would affect a webcam.
Right. How are we doing now?
You're still frozen. Is there a way that I can refresh your camera on video settings? No, that's my settings. Blame Fusa, right, Bobby? How are you this morning? I wonder if you turn on and off your webcam, maybe? Can you still hear us? Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect.
And
turn it back on. I know, always blame Fusa, right? We usually blame Regal. I can't wait to hear what you've seen and how you thought of. Yeah, right, Riggs? I love hearing what other people have watched throughout the year. I have my list of coming. I do like my older movies though, so I've only seen a few 2021 horror movies.
can you see me now?
No.
I don't know what's going on.
Oh, and it's all good. It's all good. Should I try to recall you,
Well,
like end mine as well?
I guess so.
Okay.
Sorry.
No. Don't be sorry. It's all good. We'll give you a call right back. And call. Action. Ah, there we are. There we are.
All right, I'm back.
All right, let's see. Okay, there's my webcam back as well. Oh, nice Christmas tree going on there.
Yeah. Moved next to the modem, so it should be good. I don't know.
Oh, Wi-Fi, yes. Are you guys having any bad weather there?
No, it's nice out here. We're +6. What's that,
I'm not liking you now. Plus
so
6.
like 45 in the States, I think. So pretty decent for Canada.
Nice. Yeah, no, Alberta is snowing and it's cold. Not happy about that. Our weather isn't the greatest here today. Yesterday it was actually +2 degrees, so
That's fine, right?
that's nice weather. Yeah, we've been having minuses though, -10, -15. Disgusting. But the Dark Psycho says the tree looks great. If you guys have any questions on either side, Facebook side or YouTube side, we're live on the first time for Facebook here. But if anybody has any questions, please address them, and I will copy them and paste them down and ask George without any issues, like we do on Twitch. Good morning, Serial Killer. How are you? Yesterday it was +12 in Southwest Ontario. I don't like you anymore, Hundar. Not at all.
That's awesome.
It's beautiful weather. I'm jealous, like very jealous. I don't know why we're getting screwed over here. The last time we talked to you, you were having some comic books. Your book was, you had your book getting published. Is that right from the last time we spoke to you? Oh, again?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. So my series covered Darkness.
Yeah. Oh, you're back.
I don't know what's going on.
It's
Yeah,
all
my
good.
series covered Darkness is being published by Source Point Press, and it'll be in stores January 19th.
That's awesome.
I know. I did the Kickstarter last spring,
Yes.
and so some of your viewers backed the Kickstarter, and some of those books are going to be like super rare, like because I did like 4 covers, and some of them I only printed off like a handful of them. So yeah, and the book's doing really well in pre-orders right now. We've got I think it's going to be like definitely a top 200 book, maybe a top 100 book.
That's awesome.
Released in January. So I'm psyched. Yeah.
That's really amazing. Congratulations. I'm excited for you. It's cold by you again, Hunter. Yeah. Moon, how are you doing today? Grab breakfast supplies, now racing home to watch you, but driving. Be careful, Serial. Crazy drivers out in Calgary. Have you been to any horror cons this year? I know with COVID and how restrictions are. Have you been to any of the cons?
I went to Days of the Dead in Atlanta. So it was a good show. Tony Todd was there, and it was the weekend that Candyman came out. So it was kind of cool.
Oh, that's awesome. That had to be great. Did you get to sit and talk to Tony Todd or get a picture with him or anything?
No, I was slinging books the whole weekend, but I did see him walking around, and I gave him a nod, and
Oh, that's awesome though.
Yeah, it's hard, right? Because like now that I'm like trying to make money, like selling my comic books, I can't just necessarily go to the convention and like
do
all the things I would normally do, right? Like I'd go and I'd get my picture taken with him, and and go to all these panels and do a lot of shopping. And now I'm on the other side of the table, and so I'm there. I'm trying to recoup my investment into my books, right? Because I'm a writer and I hire artists and things like that. So, sometimes it kind of takes a little bit of the fun out of the conventions in a sense. I love selling my books, but the same things that I used to do, I can't really do as much anymore.
Yeah, no, I definitely understand you there. I'm hoping in 2022 the HorrorCon that I actually met you at is going to be running, and I can go there this year, and I'm hoping to have a table. but I want to mix a little bit of business and pleasure. You know what I mean? Because I don't know if I can just be there all weekend long and see them and not do something, not be like, oh my God, hi, how are you? But yeah, I know COVID has messed up a lot of the cons. Is Day of the it's called Day of the Dead in Atlanta. Is it how is it there? Is it a big convention? I've never
Yeah.
been.
I think it's normally quite good.
Yeah.
This year with COVID, things got rescheduled, and it ended up being the weekend before the really big comic book convention that they have in Atlanta called Dragon Con. So I think a lot of people may have normally gone to Days of the Dead, but because
Right.
the huge show that was the next weekend, it was
Right,
yeah,
because
it was a
that
little bit
Dragon Con is
less
huge.
attended.
Yes. Oh, that's good. I really would like to go into the States and do some of the cons there. I've only been to the Chiller Con out in New Jersey. That's where I met a lot of like Kane Hodder, Linda Blair, and everybody for the first time. That was like in 2000, early 2000s when horror cons were still very tiny and just getting out there. Hi, Julian. How are you? So you're excited about these horror movies that you watched. Tell us about them. And if you want to, you can put them in ranking order or
Okay,
however you want to do it, because I'm interested.
all right. So I got them here. So I saw 18 horror movies in 2021, like new ones.
Right?
Some of them are, I got a couple 2020 releases that were like really small independent films that didn't get like any sort of wide release until this year. So I
Right.
included those.
Nice.
So at the bottom of the list, unfortunately, I put Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City, the new Resident Evil movie in
Mhm.
theaters. With the guy from what's not Umbrella Academy, the one with the superheroes on Netflix. Anyways,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, I put that one last. I really didn't feel like it was a well made movie, like
Right.
production wise, and the actors are pretty solid. It's actually not that bad, but there's no character development. It was kind of like watching a video game,
That's
like
it's
a
from my understanding. I haven't seen it yet, but from my understanding, it's basically what it's off of is the video game franchise, and not the Resident Evil movies that we were used to with Mila.
yeah. No, so I think it's a lot more faithful to the
Yeah.
video game, but they didn't really develop the characters. At number 17, I've got George A. Romero's The Amusement Park. Now, this is a movie from 1973 that just got released on Shudder this year. And I was really excited to see it. And man, is it a weird movie.
Yes. Yes, it is a weird
It
movie.
Yeah, so I think it was originally like a PSA, and he was hired like early in his career by like different church groups to make this like public service kind of film, and it's a barely a film. It's like 40 minutes,
Yep.
um, talking about like elder abuse, and they put it in like this horror kind of carnival setting. It was bizarre. I don't
Uh
know. It
huh.
was nice. Like some of his kind of tricks and style are still evident, but I would be lying if I said I really enjoyed the movie.
Yes, and I know that was it's considered a lost movie, right? So they were actually showing it on Shutter, which is really cool. Yeah, it's weird, definitely. Little Spark, hello, good morning. I will agree with you on that one. I haven't seen Resident Evil, but I will let you know when I do see it what I think of it.
At number 16, I've got Jacob's Wife. This was a vampire film about like a priest's wife that becomes a vampire, and he's like kind of hiding her secret. And it had a lot of potential, and I actually know one of the artists, Brett Windle, who is
Oh yeah.
the co-creator of Surrogates, the Bruce
Okay.
Willis movie from
Yep.
yeah, and so he's a super good dude, and he worked on the film, and I felt like the pacing was a little off.
Yeah, it was a weird film. I liked it, starring Barbara Crampton. I friggin' love her. I found I actually it was a vampire rat. If you think about it, it wasn't an actual vampire. I do like what they did with the lore Because normally the vampire master or the head chief is always man, always a male character. And in this one, it was a female that was the grand master of vampires. And it's not even a normal vampire, it was like a vampire rat. Uh, it was decent. It was decent. I enjoyed it. It was definitely weird. I did watch it with the Horde, and we were just chit-chatted about it. But I do like Barbara Crampton, and I do like the gore and the makeup effects that they did. It wasn't overly gory, but it did have some scenes of like lots of blood, which I enjoyed.
At number 15, I have the new Wrong Turn movie. I was really excited for that because the first one is one of my favorite horror movies. I really love it, and I, 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 I was close to liking this one. I was close to being like positive on this one, but for me, it still kind of fell out of like just being like an overall good movie. I thought the people, like the choice to change them from like cannibalistic kind of hill people to like this like more of like a civilized society that has like their own kind of code and rules. It didn't really totally work for me. I liked the kind of deformed mountain men, and
Right?
I preferred that.
Yeah, I saw the new Wrong Turn as well. I've heard like tons of different things, good and bad, and I was like, well, I need to see it for myself. I can't judge it on other people's opinions, right? So I watched it. It wasn't bad. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I am a cannibal fan. I love cannibals. I love the Wrong Turn family. I love the whole franchise of Wrong Turn. So when I was watching this, I had to, I got into it and I'm like, okay, this is definitely nothing even close to what I am used to with the Wrong Turn franchise. It wasn't too bad. Wasn't too bad, but I agree.
So the rest of them on this list, I'm positive. I would say like these bottom four, I would say maybe I wouldn't recommend watching them. The rest of them on the list, I would say, if you're a horror fan, absolutely go for it. So number 14, I've got Fear Street Part 2, 1978. So these are the Fear Street movies. There's three of them
Yeah.
released on Netflix. In 3 weeks, which I really like that format of just like being able to binge kind of like a horror movie series for the first time in like a couple of weeks. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
I only saw two of them. So I saw the first one and I saw the second one. 1978 takes place in the camp, and it has the girl from Stranger Things in it. Yeah, and she's a great young actress, and I did enjoy it, but I felt that the other installment, the first one, I enjoyed more with kind of the more of the '90s throwback in that one. Number 13, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get some hate on because I've got Halloween Kills all the way down here.
Oh no, I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Yeah. Jamie just didn't have anything to. Jamie Lee Curtis just didn't have anything to do in the movie. She's in the hospital bed for like the whole stinking time.
Yeah, just like the original sequel. It's number. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it in case people haven't seen it already, but yeah, I did like some of the concepts of like the town kind of becoming the villain. In a sense, and kind of going mad by Michael's influence on them and his presence, and they've just had enough. But ultimately, I felt it was just kind of mean spirited. Like I wasn't really rooting for anybody because the heroes are all kind of looking to kill somebody, and the villain is looking to kill somebody. To me, it's like, who do you root for here? Like I couldn't get behind it. Beautiful movie, looks great.
Oh, the CGI was awesome. See, for me, I love the franchise Halloween. I like the lore that it already has, and Halloween Kills is literally Halloween 2 with newer effects, a little bit more of a mob, a bigger fire, because as you know, in Halloween 2. There was a fire at the hospital. Jamie Lee Curtis did nothing either, right? She did nothing that entire in Halloween 2. She did nothing in Halloween Kills. the mob scene for Ben Tramer in part two, as also the mentally handicapped guy in Halloween Kills, and then you've got the mob, right? It's just a bigger mob, bigger fire, more firemen died in this one. Um, it literally was Halloween 2, just newer age that to me. I also didn't care for the fact that they made Michael want the house, like he was addicted to the window, like he's looking out the window. That was his reasoning for, going back to the home. Like you totally destroyed the whole lore of Halloween from Halloween 1. I know it was supposed to be a direct sequel to Halloween 78, but like you totally threw out everything. So I don't really consider it a Halloween movie. I consider it Halloween universe. And I gave it a 6 out of 10, and I was being nice about it because I do like Michael, and I thought he was pretty badass in this film. I always root for Michael anyways. But I gave it a 6 out of 5. That was my opinion on it. I know a lot of people didn't care for it.
No, I really like the first one, the Halloween movie that came out just a few years ago,
2018.
Yeah, I thought that was great. But this one didn't do it for me. At number 12, I've got Fear Street Part 1. So that's the 1994 one.
Yep.
I was getting Scream vibes. I love Scream. Scream is like my all-time favorite horror movie. So, yeah, just kind of getting that kind of energy when they're in the mall and the calls and stuff like that. And just the fashion and the actors and things like that. I was feeling it. I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah, no, I the Fear Street trilogies, they were good. They were cute. They were geared towards the younger generation of horror, which I thought was really cool. And I've noticed this year, and even at the end of 2020, there has been a lot of horror geared towards the younger generation, and I think that's really cool. My spawn enjoyed all 3 of the Fear Street films, but she wanted to see more on like Ruby and a few of the others. She was like, I want to see an expanded story on those guys. And I was like, oh, well, I don't know if we'll get that. Yeah, no, I agree. It did have a lot of 90 horror vibes to it, and especially in that for Scream. Are you going to see Scream in theaters?
Absolutely. Jeez, I'm psyched. So did you see all 3 of the Fear Street ones?
Yes, I have.
And what's your ranking of them?
I do. I'm going to say I like the last one. I can't remember the name of the last one. But I like the last one first, and I think it's gonna go the last one first, then 90, and then this 78 be in third spot for me.
Oh, so the last one was the best. I haven't seen it. Maybe I'll check it out.
Oh, I like the last one because it gave you a lot more insight on the backstory of the characters, and I don't want to spoil it then, so I won't go into it, but I do like that one first because it gave you some good information on the history, and that's all I'm going to leave it because I don't want to spoil it.
At number 11, I have Boys from County Hell. This is an Irish vampire movie.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
It's good.
Boys from Irish Hill. I'm going to have to.
Boys from County Hell.
Oh, County Hell.
Yeah. So it talks about how like Bram Stoker was from Ireland, and he lived in this area, and that there was another legend that inspired him. And so it's like kind of like an origin of a vampire, and the vampires in it are different than your typical vampires. And it's a horror comedy. It's not perfect, but I sure liked it a lot. Like it had just some great energy to it. And yeah, some of the characters are really funny, and just a new take on vampires that I hadn't seen. And I didn't know about this whole kind of Irish connection to vampires.
Yeah.
And so it was really cool.
Interesting. I have that on my list. Where did you watch it at?
Oh, I forget.
All right, I'm going to do a search. I know since we're both in Canada, I know it's hard for us to get some of the movies that like Shudder and Amazon Prime have in the States. So I will take a look because I need to see it.
Number 10, I have Don't Breathe 2. Yeah, I liked it. I like that character. The blind man, though, they did try and redeem him, kind of, and he's kind of a monster, so I didn't really feel like he was redeemable. But so it was one of those things, kind of like Halloween Kills again, where you're not really rooting for the protagonist, which is the villain from the first one, and this group that's kind of taken his adoptive daughter and kidnapped her. They're evil. They were really twisted. I really enjoyed those characters. They were just so messed up. It's the anyway. I don't want to spoil it, but
It's a good movie, and I did root for the blind guy. I am probably the only one who rooted for him. I know what he did was wrong in the first one. I understand that, but that chick killed his kid. As a parent, I would be the Pamela Voorhees of Alberta. I'm sorry, if somebody did something to my child, yeah, I am that person. I will murder everybody. But I was rooting for him because I knew what happened in the first one and what he went through. I mean, yeah, okay, what he did to the lady was completely wrong and took it out of proportion there, her punishment. But from a parent standpoint of view, he's blinded by the love for his child that was murdered. And then, yeah, he tried to redeem himself and do something good in the world. And two, I don't want to ruin it for anybody else either. But yes, I agree. I really enjoyed that one. Don't be too.
I did too. Yeah, that's why I cracked my top 10. I thought the suspense was good in it, and the visuals were amazing, and yeah, it was overall a good movie. At number 9, I've got Willy's Wonderland.
I love Nick Cage.
Yeah, against the animatronics from like the Chuck E. Cheese sort of thing. It was bonkers, and like Nick Cage like barely talks at all throughout the whole movie, and just kind of giving you these eyebrows and stuff like that, and it was so silly, but I did enjoy myself quite a bit watching it.
Yeah, it was definitely different. I didn't know what to expect going into a Willy's Wonderland, and I like Nick Cage. I like him in horror movies. He's done amazing in Color Out of Space and Mandy. So I was excited to see him in this one. Definitely a weird film.
And I did feel like some of the actors, like some of the young actors, were pretty amateurish to me. Like they didn't feel like professional actors. But
right.
on small budget movies, yeah, sometimes that happens. But it was a cool movie. Like I'm glad I seeked it out and found it. Well, there's lots of buzz about it, but yeah.
Hi, Jerry. Hi, Joy.
Number 8, I have Army of the Dead, Zack Snyder's Netflix movie with Dave Bautista.
Yes.
It's cool. Zack Snyder's visuals are always just like insane, and I love his style. I love the zombie horse and the
zombie queen. Like what? Yeah. I really enjoyed that film. Go ahead.
Yeah, I found some of the behind the scenes stuff kind of interesting. Like I don't know, like with the Chris D'Elia controversy, and he's a comedian and actor. It's very funny. I've seen him live, and kind of had some Me Too-ish kind of allegations come up, and they decided to just cut him out of the movie after he had already filmed it, and they digitally removed him and put in a female comedian. She's also good too. I've seen her too. They're both great. I think she's Canadian too. Her name escapes me at the moment, but cool zombie movie. What's the guy from? He was Shades in Luke Cage, and then he was on Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
Theo Rassi, I want to say his name is. He was so good in it too, just chewing the scenery, and you knew from like the second he like appeared on screen, you're like, that guy's not good.
No.
But yeah, it's a good one.
I liked it as well. I really would have liked to seen a more story on the Queen Zombie and King Zombie and how they were able to make it a community, like make it an actual community, and she was pregnant. I hated the fact that they killed her off. I The movie I felt was a little too long. There's a lot of scenes they could have cut the hell out of that to make the movie shorter and a little more interesting. I liked the effects. I love the scenery. I liked the story. There were some things that I think could have been cut down quite a bit, which would have made the movie probably about an hour and a half or an hour and 35 instead of the 2 hours. But I would have loved to seen more, and that would have opened up a sequel if they would have kept the queen alive about the king and queen zombie, because she's pregnant. How many zombie movies do we see that they actually come together as a community and she's pregnant? Like, how many? Theo Rossi, serial killer, said. Juice in Sons of Anarchy. Okay.
Juice, yeah. Yeah, did you see there was the follow-up movie that came out with the Safecracker. Yeah.
No, what's the name of it?
It's something of the dead.
Something of the dead.
I don't know. Now I'm guessing. I don't know. It's not literally. Ask the Horde. I'm sure they know.
I will have to look. I will go and look. So you said there was like a not a sequel, but like a little extension?
Yeah. It's a movie about robbing the banks or something like that in a zombie apocalypse, which sounds really interesting.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to check that out. I'll do some research.
In number 7, I've got Spiral. This was the Jigsaw kind of Saw world with this is Chris Rock. I love Chris Rock. He's one of my favorite comedians, one of my favorite actors too. Underrated actor, definitely. And it's cool to see him do like a dramatic horror role, right?
Yeah, because he normally doesn't do those kinds of roles. You don't see him in horror movies.
No. And Sam Jackson was in it too, I think.
Yeah, Samuel Jackson. Yeah. I love him.
Yeah, and I thought it was kind of a return for the Saw franchise. With the I don't know, a little bit more grounded. The Saw franchise I've always kind of had. I love the first one, and I saw them all in the movie theater, so I don't want to be like poo-pooing on it too much. But there's the kind of torture porn kind of element to the Saw movies that I don't really love. Like, it kind of makes me squirm a bit, and I obviously I do like it because I do go and keep watching these movies.
Of course.
But it was nice for them to kind of step away from that a bit and be more of like a mystery and kind of delve into those aspects. So I did like this one. This is one of my I don't know if I have a Saw ranking, but definitely number 1 is up top, and Spiral's probably in the top 2 or 3. I really like Spiral quite a bit.
Yeah. I enjoyed Spiral myself. I didn't get to see it in theaters, COVID, but I did see it at home, and I really enjoyed the film. I love seeing Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, Samuel L. Jackson has played in some kind of horror comedy, Snakes on a Plane, and that man is so diverse, like, he can do anything. So I love Samuel L. Jackson. Chris Rock, this was the first time I've seen him in a horror role. Spiral reminded me of Seven, the movie Seven with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman. It didn't really remind me of Saw, and I know it's in the Saw universe. It's not technically Saw, it's in the universe of Saw, and Saw is always there for the shock, right? That's their shock value. That's why they give you that kind of torture porn. But I've seen worse. I've seen movies that are Hostel. Hostel was a little over the top when it comes to, you want to talk about torture porn. That eyeball scene always got me. But I did enjoy the look and the visuals in Spiral. They gave it that, it's almost a very similar look to what Seven looked like. It was gritty. It was dark. The atmosphere was sad almost. Mm-hmm. And the kills were great. I thought the kills were very interesting and creative in that film. Everyone agrees Spiral was awesome. You want a monkey?
I do want to take a second, actually, if you don't mind. I'm going to shout out my movie channel. I just launched a movie review channel. It's called Inside Movies. It's me and other comic book writers, comic book artists. It's like impossible to find on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's Inside Movies, and it's like lost in the like algorithm. But we do retrospective kind of reviews, mostly like 80s, 90s action movies like Predator and
Right.
uh, and the Tiny Man reviewed the Wolfman. So
Love
we've
that.
done a little bit of horror. But anyways, I want to shout that out. If you guys, if you're looking for it, I would recommend checking out my Instagram page. It's at Comic Book George.
I got you covered right there with the guest command. We got everything.
Awesome.
That's
Yeah.
our whole link tree.
Yeah, on Linktree, there's a link to Inside Movies. If anyone wants to check out my movie reviews, they're pretty fun.
Awesome.
The other writers and artists that I review movies with, they're pretty funny guys.
That's great. I'm going to have to check it out. Right there, guys, is links to the YouTube channel for Inside Comics. Right there is all the social links where you can stalk George Michail, and Instagram right there as well. So make sure you check them out. Give them some love. Give a follow if you like movie reviews. And I know some of you do. Mischief Maker and Monkey, good morning. How are you? Jigsaw is a crazy bastard. I will tell you that, Julian. Definitely.
Actually, I'd love to have you on Inside Movies one day for a horror movie review.
Oh, hell yeah. I'd love to be on. I love talking movies, especially in the horror genre.
So going through my top 18 movies, horror movies of 2021. This one is people may not have heard of this one. It's number 6. It technically came out in 2020 in the UK, but it really wasn't available until 2021. So that's why I'm including it.
Right.
It's called The Owners. Now this is a home invasion movie. It stars Macy Williams, who was in Game of Thrones. She was the youngest
Right.
Arya Stark, and it's her and her boyfriend and their friends. They break into a house, kind of like Don't Breathe. It's very similar to Don't Breathe, the first one, where there's people break into the house and then they're kind of in trouble when the owners come home, and the owner's this like deranged doctor. And if you guys haven't seen this one, I really recommend it. There's a lot of great suspense. The acting in it is incredible, and I totally recommend The Owners with Macy Williams. Number 5, I've got Till Death. Now this was with Megan Fox movie, where she's, I don't want to spoil it, but essentially she's handcuffed to somebody and a dead person, and she's alone in this cabin with or lake house, and there's no food. She has to get out of there or else she's going to die. And then someone comes to kill her. The suspense I thought was great. It's my number 5 movie. I really enjoyed it quite a lot. And yeah, I don't think enough people are talking about Till Death.
No, I don't think so. I know I covered Till Death on one of my horror news. It was an upcoming movie. It's on my watch list. I haven't watched it yet. But The Owners is on my watch list as well. I talked about that I think last year when I heard about it. It wasn't out quite yet. But those two are definitely on my watch list. And yes, I'm very interested to see it's Till Death, right? Is the name of it?
Yeah, Till Death.
Yeah. I'm very interested to see how she does in this one. It's a thriller horror type of film.
Mm-hmm. Number 4, I've got Candyman. The new Candyman was pretty awesome. I love the actor that they cast in the lead there. I thought the directing was just incredible. All the cinematography and the angles as they're falling around in the buildings and things like that. The way that they did the kills, where you couldn't see Candyman, but the person was obviously being picked up or being thrown around by the spirit. It was great. I really enjoyed it a lot. My only criticism would be, well, I have more than one, but my main criticism was not enough Tony Todd. I sure wanted him in it more.
Yeah, I miss Tony Todd in that as well. And, I actually really enjoyed Nia DaCosta's Candyman. I enjoyed what she brought to it. The only gripe that I really did have was some of the kills were off camera. And, I would have loved to see I'm a gore horse, so I love seeing blood, guts, and ass. I just love it. And to see some of the kills being pulled back, especially the one where they're in the apartment building and they're talking, and then I don't want to spoil it if people didn't see it, but there's that one scene and then the camera pulls back and you can just see her being batted around. I would have liked to seen that a little bit closer. That was my only gripe with Nia DaCosta's Candyman. I thought it was very well done. I liked I like who was casted for their roles. I love the backstory. I loved everything that she brought to that film. I would have liked to see some of those kills up close though.
Yeah.
And more Tony Todd would have been great.
I feel like it was a worthy sequel to the original Candyman. And I want more Candyman. Candyman is one of my all-time favorite horror movies. So the original, and so I was happy to see it finally kind of come back, and Jordan Peele produce this thing and kind of do it right, and have like a proper budget. And yeah, no, it was definitely a good movie. It was one of my most anticipated movies of this year. So I thought it delivered. Yeah, but I have 3 movies ranked higher. One is the number 3 is called The Night House. Now this is a bit of a slow burn. It's a woman whose husband commits suicide, and she's haunted by a spirit. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's a real kind of psychological kind of. It messes with your mind a bit, and the visuals in it are insane because the way the camera will move. The husband was an architect, if I'm remembering correctly, and he designed this. Yeah, he was, and he designed the house. And when the camera moves in certain angles, the walls and the ornate architecture in the building will move. And when you look at it from a certain angle, it becomes a face.
Oh wow.
And then that face will move or talk, and it trips you right out. And because it's like almost like Paranormal Activity, where it's like you're looking at something and something you didn't see is now visible, and it's like it messes you right up. And same thing with this, where you don't see it coming, and it sneaks up on you when this architecture comes alive. And it sounds hokey, but it's really not. It's my number 3 horror movie. I really enjoyed it.
I just added that to my list.
Number 2, Malignant.
Oh, I loved it.
One of the most fun experiences I've had in the movie theater this year. I was psyched about it because, like, James Wan, Saw, the Conjuring movies, everything he does is awesome. Like even his Fast and the Furious movies, his Aquaman movies. He's one of the best directors working in Hollywood. And the fact that he got like a big budget to make like
it was a wild ride.
A crazy kind of 80s slasher that you just like never see anymore. And it's insane. And the twists, and man, it was so good.
I loved Malignant. I thought it was awesome. James Wan doesn't disappoint I haven't seen many of the outside of horror movies of James Wan, but he doesn't disappoint when it comes to horror. I love the camera angles that he brought in. It was a little crazy in the beginning, it felt a little unorganized in the beginning, but as you kept getting deeper into that rabbit hole, I was like, oh my God, the kills were great. I really enjoyed Malignant a lot.
I think it's very polarizing. Like a lot of I've seen reviews where people just hate on it.
I know.
And I was just eating my popcorn. Like, this is nuts. Yes. And I loved it. I just absolutely loved it.
I completely agree with you. I enjoyed it. And it's a fresh take on some horror. We've been getting a lot of reboots and remakes and reimaginings, and the horror community has been dying for something new, and we get it, and then they shit all over it. And it's like, what are you doing? This is creative. You can see all the influences that James Wan had in that film. Like you can see numerous different films influences in Malignant, and I thought it was brilliant. I don't know what people didn't like about it.
Yeah. No, I loved it, and it's like it all and very different. Like it's a popcorn movie. Like this isn't like an art film. This isn't like a best picture kind of thing.
Right.
This isn't a slow burn. This is like balls to the wall, just insanity, and
Yes.
go along for the ride and enjoy it.
And then that's exactly what I did. I liked it. Once you got through, like I said in the beginning, it felt a little unorganized, but I think that was done on purpose. And I think that's what a lot of people didn't like about it. But once you got past that, you can see the insanity in the film itself. And I think he was trying to portray that not only in its visual aspects, but in the actors' aspect as well when they were acting. I mean, he kind of knew by the word malignant where it was headed. But
I didn't see it coming.
Oh, you
I
didn't see it coming.
No.
I did, being malignant, it had to do some type of tumor, right?
I
Yeah.
didn't see it coming. It blew my mind. I was like, what the hell is this? I think, okay, so my number one movie,
Yeah.
probably most people can guess it. It's A Quiet Place Part 2. That was my favorite horror movie. It's just incredible. Like I love how the monsters make everyone have to be quiet.
Yeah.
Super, super quiet. And so it just raises the tension up, right? Because every sound is like makes you jump and makes you nervous, like because there can be no sound.
Right.
And no, I loved was it Cillian Murphy as the new addition. He was the bearded guy, and he was kind of helping out the daughter, and I felt really stressed about the whole scene with the boat, and I don't know, it was just I feel like I'm not describing it well, but I'm sure most people have seen it. A Quiet Place Part 2 is great. What's the director's name? He's Jim from The Office.
Yes, I can't remember his name, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, no, he like totally brought it. Emily Blunt is great. The whole scene of like the whole concept of like having a newborn in a world where you can make no sound is just terrifying.
That is terrifying because you can't control babies. You can't tell them to be quiet and they're just going to be quiet.
Yeah, no, I loved it. I want more in this world. I'm hoping this series just keeps coming because I think they've signed on for more, haven't they?
From what I heard, we'll see. We will see. I did really enjoy the first one. I haven't seen the second one as of yet because it is on my list, but I do know about it because I was reading up on it. But I did like the first one, and so I am excited to see the second one. There is the first one. It brought something new. I know there was a takeoff. There was another movie on Netflix that was very similar to A Quiet Place.
The Bird one with Sandra Bullock.
There's
Bird
that
Box
one.
or something like that.
No, there was another one.
Where you couldn't see. That one with Sandra Bullock was you couldn't see them.
That was Bird Box, but
they had to all go around blindfolded, which is
weird. But there was another one out on Netflix at the same time, and I can't remember the name of it. There was something Silence or something. Very similar storyline. Very similar storyline.
No, these Quiet Place movies are just like next level good. Some of that, and I went in with like such high expectations because I loved the first one, and this one like brought it. I think it was like equally as good. So definitely like a strong recommend for that. If you haven't seen A Quiet Place Part 2, you guys go out and check it. So there's my top 18 horror movies of 2021.
Right on.
Yeah, let us know what you guys think in the comments for sure too. If you're
yeah, I'd love to know what is everyone's top movies that you guys watched in 2021, whether they were released in 2020 and then shown in your country in 2021, because that has happened here a few times. A few movies were released in the United States, but they were not released here in the theaters. They were released on VOD. I really enjoyed your list because some of those movies were on my list. Have you seen the film Superhost?
No.
Add it to your list. It's a fun movie, and it's was it 2020 or 2021? I don't remember, but it's between 2020 and 2021. Really good movie, Superhost. It's on. Oh, Oh, Shudder maybe? I think Shudder. Malignant's
There
your
was one
number.
that was um, Fried Berry, I think it was called. I
Oh my
saw that one
God,
on
that is
Shutter.
so
I'm thinking
weird.
about checking that one out.
No,
Have you seen
Fried
it?
Berry. Yeah, I seen Fried Berry. It was so weird. Really weird film, definitely. Oh, it's called The Silence. Thanks, Monkey. So the movie that I was telling you about with The Quiet Place is called The Silence. They're very similar in storylines. Quiet Place 2 was good, but probably need to see it again. Yeah, definitely see it again, Joy Toy. Malignant was your number one hard jar? Perfect. Hi, Jesse Cat. How are you? Brian McDonald wants to know what is everyone's favorite movie? What is one of your favorite movies?
Oh, well, my all-time favorite movie is Jurassic Park. I've seen that like
Yep.
20 times. It came out in like 94. I was 12. It was 93. I don't know. Yeah, around there. And
Dinosaurs.
no, I love it. Like everything about it. It's just, I don't know. Like, it's so much fun, right? Like the Raptors are so
It
cool,
is.
and I'm just babbling on here like
Oh,
an
go
idiot,
for
but
it.
I love Jurassic Park. I actually have like a full like 30-minute review of Jurassic Park. It was on the Inside Movies channel if you want to hear all my thoughts on it, kind of more concisely and organized. But yeah, it's awesome.
No,
I mean,
I agree. And you know, when Jurassic Park came out, we didn't really have dinosaur films. I just gotta say, Jesse Cat, thank you and welcome to the ghouls. I appreciate you joining the membership here on YouTube. Thank you, thank you. Um, but yes, I do. Jurassic Park, we didn't really have dinosaur films. I mean, we had your King Kong and those types of creature films, which I friggin' love King Kong. But and we had Godzilla, but nothing like Jurassic Park. And when it came out, that made waves.
Jurassic Park has horror vibes to it,
Yes, it
and I
does.
would love, um, like, I know there was like what was Carnosaurus or something like that. There's been horror dinosaur movies, but I would love just a proper big budget horror dinosaur movie where it's just people being hunted by dinosaurs because they're just so terrifying to me. Um, and the Jurassic Park movies kind of lean more into like action adventure than horror. And I'd love just like a proper, a proper horror suspense kind of movie around
Yeah.
dinosaurs.
Yeah, no, that would be cool. Yeah, no, I enjoy Jurassic Park. I think I've seen them all. I think I've seen them all. Um, so it's around that holiday. It's around Christmas. What is one of your favorite regular Christmas movies, if you have one, and what is one of your favorite horror Christmas movies, if you have one?
Okay, so my favorite Christmas movie is A Muppets Christmas Carol. I
Yes.
love it.
Who doesn't love the Muppets?
Yeah, that's my favorite one. Um, yeah, I love Gonzo. He's like my favorite Muppet, and he's in it a
Gonzo.
lot. He's kind of narrating it and things like yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, no, it's cool. And then, but my favorite horror Christmas movie is Gremlins.
Ah, yes, Gremlins is a great film.
Yeah, I actually just watched it with my 9-year-old for the first time. So it's kind of cool to actually start. So this was like her first kind of introduction to horror movies. We watched at Christmas or at Halloween time. We watched Monster Squad. We watched
Love Monster
Gremlins.
Squad.
Yeah. And there was one more. Shoot, I forget. But I kind of like a kind of child's introduction to like horror,
Of course.
and yeah, and it was great to kind of go down memory lane. So I just recently watched it, and yeah, I know it's such a good movie. Yeah, that's my favorite. I also really like Krampus.
Krampus is good. I liked Krampus as well. I would like a more darker Krampus, a better, well-made, darker Krampus. But the Krampus 2015 was good.
Yeah. Um,
Gremlins and
there's
Die
no,
Hard. The serial killer's favorites are Gremlins and Die Hard. Your favorite Christmas movie is Krampus as well, Garmin? Awesome. Good morning, Garmin. Die Hard for Hard Jar? Nice. I enjoy I like the movie Jack Frost. Not the Jack Frost with Michael Keaton, the horror Jack Frost. It came out the same year as Jack Frost with Michael Keaton, but this one is a killer snowman. It's a lot of fun. And 30 Days of Night. I know, you guys are going to say it's not a Christmas movie. There's snow on the ground. So to me, it's a Christmas movie. Black Christmas, original Black Christmas, exactly. Silent Night, Deadly Night as well. I do like the original Black Christmas. I do not care for anything they're on in Black Christmas. I don't care for the other two remakes of Black Christmas. Not my style. But I do enjoy the originals.
I never thought of 30 Days of Night as a Christmas. It's not. It's just in Alaska.
It's in Alaska. It's during the winter. There's snow on the ground. So,
that's a great movie. Actually, that's based off of a graphic novel.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
And they made their own language. The vampires' language is all made up from a university in New Zealand. They actually created the vampires' language for this film, 30 Days of Night. Come on, Fusa. Trying to make
I actually know the co-creator of 30 Days a Night pretty well, Ben Templesmith.
Oh, nice.
So he's the artist on the book. And yeah, we've gone out for dinner and hang out at conventions.
It's my favorite vampire film besides What We Do in the Shadows. I know everyone likes their Bram Stoker's Dracula and shit like that, but my favorite vampire film is 30 Days of Night. Those are true vampires. They're there to eat you. They're not there to make love to you. They're not there to, seduce you and bring you to a castle. They're there to eat your freaking face off. And that is what I love about 30 Days of Night. True vampires. None of this, romanticized crap about vampires. I'm sorry. I do like Bram Stoker's Dracula, but I do like 30 Days of Night better.
I tried to take that approach with our vampires in my series Cover Darkness.
Yep.
Yeah, there's no sparkly vampires here. There's no romance. It's, these are, humans are food. And that's how they treat us. Do you have? So we have our Nosferatu kind of vampire, and so we're getting into the lore now, because I'm currently writing like issue 11, and then we're doing an anthology project where we do like spotlights, and so on the anthology project, actually for Cover Darkness, we have a vampire, and he looks like the Nosferatu from the classic movie, and his name is Count Orlok, and I've written a new back history, and I'll share a spoiler here, kind of first time breaking news sort of thing, is they're related to elves in our world, and so that's why they have the pointy ears. Our Count Orlok character is a blood elf. And I've created his origin story, and it's being illustrated by Andy Belanger, who's the artist that worked on DC's Swamp Thing, and it's coming together great. So I'm super excited about that.
Oh, that's awesome! Yes, that's great. There's so much vampire lore out there. So much vampire lore. It's nice to see the creativity when it comes to vampires. But a lot lately, the last couple of years, it's always been romanticized vampire lore, and I like True Blood. I like those kinds of films, but if you think of what a vampire is, not really going around having sex and trying to make babies, and they're gonna eat you. You're a blood bag. That's all you are. You are cattle to them.
I was reading this article though about romance fiction and what most female readers look for in that, and vampires, werewolves, lawyers, doctors, and pirates, I think, were like the top 5.
Interesting.
And
mine is cannibals.
I think, so the article was talking about how like they're kind of someone that is like a bad boy, and you need to kind of make them kind kind of
Right.
convert them and change them into someone you can work with and love and things like that. And so
Yeah.
all these kind of monstrous sort of positions of power. It was those two things were like attractive in storytelling. So I found the article interesting.
That is interesting. I gather for most females. For me, I really like American Psycho. I like it as a novel, and I like the movie itself, American Psycho. I thought Patrick Bateman is amazing. Christian Bale did an awesome job as and yeah, I really like those ones. And oh, Hardjar has a question for you. Marvel or DC? I know we've spoke about this before, but you were Hardjar is wasn't here earlier in the year.
Oh.
So yeah, Marvel or DC?
Yeah, it's a tough one, but like my two favorite characters are Batman and Wolverine
Nice.
for superheroes. But overall, I think I'm more of a Marvel guy. Just, I feel like a lot of the DC characters are very overpowered and kind of takes a bit of the everyman out of the stories that they tell with them.
Right. Come on, Fusa. You gotta lay down, kitty. Come on, I can't see what I'm doing here. My cat is always all up in my stuff. Come on. She covers my screen, so it's hard for me to see chat. Lay down. Nice, Gammon. From the Dark. Nice. Yeah, I'm not overly huge DC or Marvel. I do like Batman. So I gather. Has anyone watched the vampire movie From the Dark? No, I have not seen From the Dark, Gammon. I hope I'm saying your name right. Gaiman? It's Gaiman. I'm thinking your name is Gammon, but I'm actually reading it. It's Gaming Trucker. I'm sorry for calling you Gammon. I'm always fucking up people's names. I messed up George Michail's name here. I'm sitting there calling him George Michail, and it's Michail.
That's all right. No worries there.
Yes. So if you do exclamation point guest in this, if you do exclamation point guest in the chat, it'll pop up George Michail's social media, Inside Comics YouTube channel. Then there is an all links channel, all links. That if you click on it, it'll open up everything for George Michail, and then his Instagram, Inside Comics, right there as well. And you're a truck driver. Nice. Nice, Gaiman. Thank you for doing what you do. Truck drivers have one of the hardest jobs out there. So thank you for making the world go round. Without you guys, we wouldn't be going round.
Yeah, so for people maybe kind of just joining the show or don't know who I am, my name is George Michail, and I'm a comic book writer. My series Cover Darkness is available to pre-order right now into your local comic book store. It's being published by SourcePoint Press and will be in stores January 19th. The series is kind of like Game of Thrones meets Universal Monsters. It's about a family in medieval Romania. They get separated from each other and they encounter vampires, werewolves, the mummy, creature from the Black Lagoon, and Frankenstein. It's about their story back to each other. They're trying to reunite. And within the family, there's twin shape-shifting boys that can turn into animals. So you get gorillas fighting werewolves. It's pretty insane. And we've done new takes on like all the classic monsters. Like our werewolves are Vikings. Our Frankenstein character, he's from Atlantis, and he's resurrected by his widow, Dr. Mary Frankenstein. So kind of a steampunk Atlantean Frankenstein.
Oh, that's cool.
Thank you. Yeah, no, we're having a ton of fun with it. It's a 6-issue miniseries, and one thing that's really cool about it is that the way it's structured is half of each issue is dedicated to the monsters, and you get like a self-contained monster origin story, and then the other half is about our family's adventure, and they're on a collision course with those monsters. It was really important to me as a reader of comic books that each issue is a good read on its own, and isn't always just building to the next thing. So each kind of chapter, each issue has a self-contained read and the ongoing aspect at the same time.
Nice. Lament, you'll be able to go to any comic book store and ask them if you could pre-order Cover of Darkness. Elias, good morning.
Yeah, thanks. It's important to pre-order this book because the publisher is not huge. It's not Marvel or DC. They're doing great things though. Source Point Press is a real up and comer. They've sponsored like New York Comic Con, and they're sponsoring C2E2 in the big show in Chicago this weekend. And they're doing great stuff, and they have a board game division. They're awesome people, and I'm really thrilled to be with them. But if you just go into your local comic book store on January 19th, they may not have an extra copy for you. So
Right.
you have to call them up now and say, hey, can you bring this in for me? And because I'm interested in checking out Cover of Darkness.
Yes, I have the one that I bought from you at the Comic-Con. I think it was in 2019. That's how we met. We met.
Yes.
I go to the Calgary Horror Con every year, and when I was there, I met George and bought one of his graphic novels, and I loved it. I thought it was great. And then I had him on the show for the first time, and we spoke about Cover of Darkness. And then I think, yeah, this is the third time you've been on, and it's been awesome having you on and talking about and see where you're going. And now you've got a book coming in January. So yes, if you guys want it, no matter where you are in the world, go to your local comic book store, say, hey, can you pre-order me a copy of Cover of Darkness? And you can make sure you get one. Yes, right, Krista?
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. I've been selling the book. Like, we started making it in 2018.
Yep.
And so it's been this long journey, and we could have been published last year, but we've been waiting to kind of come out when things were kind of getting close to back to normal. And we're thrilled to have it finally released by a publisher. I actually just sold out of the last of like my kind of indie stock at San Diego Comic-Con
Nice.
3 weeks ago. So so now
Congratulations.
now I'm waiting for the book to come out so that I'll have copies to come out from Source Point Press to sell.
Yes. How are you thinking about coming to the HorrorCon in Calgary again in 2022?
I'd love to. I don't have it on my schedule right now, so I have to look into that.
I'm not serial killer. Do you know when the Calgary HorrorCon is going to be around? Serial killer is a part of the community of volunteers with the HorrorCon in Calgary. So he may have some information on that. But it is supposed to happen in 2022. It was supposed to happen in 2021, but of course, COVID. But we also have a question for you. A serial killer wanted to know, how hard is it to get a comic up and running? I have had a series I would like to create. Yeah, Phoenix Comics, yeah.
It's a tough industry to crack into. You really got to be kind of determined. So does he have a book made, or is he working on it currently?
I think he has an idea and a storyline. I don't think anything is in action yet. Is that right, Serial? Not everything is in action yet for you? I know he has an idea and he has a storyline, but I don't think he's actually wrote anything out. And June 22nd is when the Calgary HorrorCon is to start.
I'll have to check my schedule and see if I can make it. But yeah, I'd love to. So my advice would be to start off small. Making comic books is a lot of work. As a writer, you have to hire an artist, and they can be expensive and it can add up. So a great way to kind of get your feet wet with making comic books is maybe create an anthology or join an anthology. So it's like a collection of short stories, and write yourself like, a 6-pager, 8-page kind of, if you're into horror, do like a horror story, and you can tell like a short story and then have that be collected into a book, or start your own anthology and let other people know, hey, this is what I'm putting together, and just build a book like that. That's an easy way to get started, where it's not like a huge financial investment and you get to kind of get your feet wet. Working with artists can be tricky. Sometimes people are super professional and they deliver on timelines and they and the project goes, really smoothly. And other times people can be not as professional and they blow their timelines and they never deliver, or things like
Yeah.
this, or the work that you thought you're hiring isn't what you're getting, and you're not really happy with the product. So it's good to test out an artist on a smaller project before committing to a bigger project.
Oh, for sure. And that's great advice. Great advice. Because there's a few people I know in the horde themselves that are, just authors or just starting out, with short stories and information. So it's really nice of you to give us some inside information. Um, but yeah, serial killers artist is very expensive, like very, very expensive.
Yeah, well, sometimes they're worth it for sure, and
Yeah.
that's great. Our artist on Cover of Darkness, his name is MJ Hiblin.
Yep.
He's an artist from the UK. He's great. He does everything digitally with his finger. He doesn't use a pencil or a stylus, so he does it all on his iPad with his finger. And the artwork that he creates is just incredible. It's got a really gritty, kind of kinetic energy to it
Right.
that fits the subject matter really nicely.
Now, is this a newer artist from the original Cover of Darkness? It's the same artist.
Same artist, yeah.
Perfect. That's awesome. That is really great. So I know his
Thanks.
art style because I've read your Cover of Darkness.
So we're releasing Cover of Darkness as 3 6-issue miniseries. So it's really the start of like a big world that we're building here. And so the first issue will be in stores January 19th, but we're currently working on it'll be issue 5 of the second miniseries. So we've got like a huge head start on the publisher here because we've been making this book for years now. And I co-write it with my cousin, who's actually a Calgary native, Chris Cam.
Nice.
So we grew up together. We're almost like brother and sister in a way, because she would come out to Kelowna, where I live, every summer for like 2-3 months, and we'd hang out together, all day, every day, swimming and watching cartoons and playing board games and reading comic books and stuff like that. And she's a scaredy cat. She does not watch horror movies, but she loves to read horror. And right. She's read all the classics. She loves paranormal, romance, and those sorts of things too. And so together we collaborate on the story, and then we send it off to our artist who puts everything together and brings it to life.
Nice. I've always wanted to be in a comic book. Now, I was supposed to be in a comic book. My character, ReAnimateHer, was supposed to be in one, but the site closed down that we were all on, Mixer. There was a writer and a artist on Mixer that was creating an actual comic book about the people on Mixer. So it was basically a streaming universe, and there was a little horror element to it and a little sci-fi element to it. But then it kind of went down to the wayside because Mixer closed its doors like abruptly. They told us all that they closed them on Twitter instead of letting everybody know. So I went down the tubes.
I think that'd be great to do like a horror anthology with you as the main character. Wouldn't that be cool?
I would love that. That would be friggin' awesome. My cat ReAnimateHer in the actual comic book, she was to be able to reanimate the dead. I have a little backstory on her, but yeah, it was supposed to happen, but never did. It's too bad. But it would have been fun because it was all of the people that were in the Mixer universe. And Mixer was a streaming platform, just in case if you didn't know what Mixer was. Mixer was Microsoft's streaming platform like Twitch. And they had a whole universe set inside the Mixerverse. Definitely a fun little one. And Serial was saying that his artist is about $800 just for his main character.
Yeah, every artist has their own budget and
yes, they
their own
do.
prices and things like that. To speak candidly, I think that like if you're hiring artists, typically if you're hiring someone off of Instagram or DeviantArt or some websites like this, you can find artists that'll work for like $100 to $200 US a page. And then if you're looking to hire someone who's worked on like Marvel or DC, it's closer to $300 to $400 a page.
Wow.
So those are more standard rates. Now, of
Yeah,
course, like any field, someone who's like an expert might be,
a
you
lot
know,
more for sure.
a lot more, right? But it can be tricky also trying to recruit someone who's worked for Marvel or DC onto some of your projects, because they want to work with established writers and things like that. And so when you're just starting off, I would recommend just finding someone that you think is really fantastic on Instagram. Has been a great resource for me. I've hired 3 different artists for 3 different projects just off of Instagram, and
Oh, that's great.
yeah, it's worked out well, and they're really talented people and things like that.
Oh, that is really awesome. And yes, Gaiman, The Hitcher from 1986 is an amazing film. Rutger Hauer does a phenomenal job with his character. And if you're interested, I did do a CCOH on The Hitcher. It is on YouTube somewhere in my Coffee Chat of Horror talk show section on a playlist. It is in there. Great film. Have you seen The Hitcher from 1986?
Uh,
It's
I think
it's older
so.
film.
I think like when I was in high school, remember like where you could get like 7 movies for 7 days for $7 at like your local video store? I
Yes.
watched like everything. Like, you know what I mean? Like I've seen just like so much, but do I remember The Hitcher from 1986? Not really, but I
Yeah.
do think I've seen it.
Oh, probably. Rutger Hauer was in it. Oh, what's the other guy's name? Tom Holland. Ah, crap, I can't remember the other kid's name. But it definitely it's a good movie. Rutger Hauer's best role was Bog in Lex. I don't think I've seen that, Lament.
So what did you do for Halloween this year?
Not too much. I cosplayed. Well, my costume was Mary Mason from American Mary. I don't know if you've seen that. It's by the Soska sisters, who are Canadian twin sisters. They have
Oh,
Twisted Productions. They're from British Columbia as well. They have their production company is called Twisted Twins Production, and they've done movies like they did American Mary. They helped do a remake of Rabid. They also did one of their first movies is Dead Hooker in a Trunk. Nice low budget horror. They're actually pretty awesome. And my anniversary is wedding anniversary is on Halloween. So we celebrated that, but we didn't do much. We didn't get many trick-or-treaters either, which was sad because I always love seeing all the kids in their Halloween costumes. But it's a Canadian sci-fi. Really, I don't think I've ever seen Lex. Have you seen Lex, George?
sorry, which one?
Lex, Lex.
No.
Yeah, it's Canadian. I have not seen it, Lament. I don't know. Any other Canadians in here ever see Lex? Oh yeah. What did you do for Halloween? What was your daughter? Was she
I'm
dressed
gonna
up?
show you the. Let's see if this works. Can you guys see that?
Oh my God, that's so awesome.
So we went as Black Widow characters. So I was Red Guardian. My
Yeah,
wife was Yelena, and my daughter was Black Widow.
that's awesome.
Yeah, we didn't do too much, to be honest with you. Like we got dressed up and we took my daughter trick or treating, and yeah, that's kind of it, you know. But it was fun. I yeah. Uh,
Great
we went to
costumes.
this. We went to this church parking lot, and they were doing like this. It's kind of sounds weird, but they were doing like trunk or treating, and so everyone, and it was really cool. All the people at the church decorated their cars.
Huh?
So like not only were they in costume, but their cars were in costume, and they had the hatches open, and they had candy, and you could go like kind of car to car at the church parking lot and do some trick or treating.
That's cool. That's awesome.
And some kid was like, "Daddy, Daddy, look, it's Captain America," and the
Oh,
dad's like, "That's not Captain America. That's Dollar Store Captain America." And I was like, "No, man, I'm Red Guardian. Come on."
right? I'm not Captain America.
Yeah, no, it was good. I love Halloween. My daughter is like so into it. It's one of my favorite holidays for sure.
Yeah, it is my favorite holiday. I love Halloween. I love it so much. I was married on it, and we were married in our Halloween costumes. So we were married in '04, and we went trick or treating first. So we were in our Halloween costumes. We went trick or treating, and then we had our ceremony outside, and then afterwards was a little Halloween party.
Nice.
Yeah, it was fun. Before Halloween became a popular holiday to get married on, it was definitely a good time. And we didn't have anything overly fancy. It was just in the front yard. The Halloween decorations were up. Trick or treaters were coming. It was fun.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I
I,
enjoyed it.
I was married in 2005, so right around then.
Oh, nice. Right on. Yeah. No, it seems so far away that 2004, 2005, early 2000s.
Yeah, it's getting to be a while.
See, I haven't seen Black Widow. That's another movie that's on my to watch list. I have a huge watch list. There's so many friggin' movies and documentaries I have waiting to be seen. I just don't ever have enough time to watch them.
Yeah, I'm psyched for Spider-Man, the new one with Doctor Strange. I bought my tickets already. It comes out on Thursday.
Oh wow,
I'm amped.
that's
Yeah,
awesome.
I get there for like the Marvel movies. I see them all like opening night, and just, yeah.
Right
I don't
on.
dress up. I
No?
don't go that far, but
Ah, right on. Yeah, no, I would like to see Scream. I would like to see Scream in the theaters. That's something I'd like, and that's coming out in what, January, right?
yes, I
Hmm.
remember. So I was a little bit younger when Scream came out, and I rented the first Scream on VHS from Blockbuster, and I loved it. And then actually I bought it. I had the VHS, and I was in high school, like I don't know, 16ish. So I wasn't
Yeah.
able to go to the theater. And then Scream 2 came out, and my cousin took me, my older cousin Chris, who yeah, she came to visit in Nanaimo when I was living there, and she took me to the theater, and I screamed out loud during, it was like some stupid jump scare, and I was like the only one who yelled in the movie theater. It was like a cat jumped onto the thing, and I yelled out loud, and some like big dude, like 3 rows up, like turned around. He's like, "Dude," he's like, "This is a stupid cat. You screaming scared me." He got all mad at me.
Oh, that's awesome though. It's awesome when your scream scares other people.
Yeah.
Scream's a great. I like Scream. I like Ghostface. He's not one of my favorite killers, but he's one of I enjoy Ghostface as a mortal killer. It's the first. Actually, it's the first time since Bubba that we see a mortal villain outside of your Marvel and DC. But it's in a horror film. We had they're all like supernatural. You have Michael and Jason, and but when Bubba comes along with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, he's mortal. And then later on in the you have then Freddy comes into the picture, another immortal sleep demon. Pinhead, same thing. He's a hell priest.
Candyman.
Used to be mortal, right? Turned into the hell priest. He's now an interdimensional demon. And then we have in the 90s, we get Candyman, another immortal, and then Ghostface. So we don't really have too
Uh,
many mortal like series serial killers. We don't, and that's why I like Ghostface. I do enjoy Ghostface.
So I'm working on a new project. It's very early days on it, but maybe I
Ooh,
could share it with you.
yeah.
So we have a working title called Night Terror, and it's me and Spencer Esterbrooks kind of putting together this story. Spencer's a comic book maker, filmmaker from Alberta. He does the Sharkosaurus books. He has an excellent short film called The Hunt,
I'll have to write that
which
down.
I think you can find it on YouTube. Um, and we're working together on a comic book script called Night Terror. Essentially, the elevator pitch is it's The Office meets Friday the 13th. It's about a workplace, a startup company that goes on a team building retreat at like a camp, an isolated camp, and the startup company is the app is called Nightly, and it's you get like coupons every night, and the mascot is a knight, like a knight in shining armor, and
Right on.
while they're on this team building retreat where they're staying there for the weekend, the mascot, the knight, starts picking them off one by one, and it's like a mystery as to who it is. It's a horror comedy. Um, I'm having a lot of fun writing it with Spencer,
Exciting.
and yeah. So hopefully, it could be a year, it could be 2 years down the road that we'll
Right.
actually have something. But just kind of wanted to share that with you.
Oh, very interesting. That sounds awesome. Definitely going to have to keep my ears and eyes open for updates on that. That sounds very interesting. Hmm. And you said the short story it's called The Hunt, right? And
I believe so. Yeah.
what's his name again?
Spencer Estabrooks, Estabrooks.
Perfect. I am going to go and take a look for that. I like short stories and fan fiction. Fan fiction has been amazing lately when it comes to fan made videos. Like, amazing some of the stuff they've come out with. Have you seen 13 Fanboy?
No.
13 Fanboy is I actually enjoyed 13 Fanboy. It was in a Kickstarter, and it had Dee Wallace, Kane Hodder, many of the people from the Friday the 13th franchise, where there is a fan, a super fan, who goes around and stalks and kills the actors in Friday the 13th. So they actually portray themselves in this film. It was a Kickstarter, fan funded, and it came out October 21st, I believe. Definitely check it out. It's completely different than New Nightmare, Nightmare on Elm Street, where Freddy comes back, right? This one is a bit about a fan that is a super fan who takes things out of context and starts murdering the actual actors from Friday the 13th. Definitely is a good movie. I know it was in select theaters, but it was on all VOD platforms. I'm gonna
Yeah,
add
that
that one
sounds
to
that
your
sounds
list.
cool. I really like the concept. That's neat.
Yeah, Deborah Voorhees, Dee Wallace, C.J. Graham, Kane Hodder. There was a ton of them in there. Really, really well done. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Fan made, not technically fan made, but fan funded. And then there is Vincent DeSanti's Never Hike Alone and Never Hike Alone in the Snow. That's another. And also Jason Rising. If you like fan made horror films, they're fan made and fan funded. I agree. New Nightmare was a great meta. I enjoyed New Nightmare. Hmm. Have you seen New
Um,
Nightmare?
Me? Oh yeah, yeah. I love it. It's very meta and cool, and just a different kind of vibe on it. And yeah, Wes Craven's was a master.
That he is. That he was. Yeah. Did you hear about Anne Rice passing away?
No, I missed that.
Yeah. Just got notification this morning. Anne Rice passed away at 80, complications due to a stroke.
That's too bad.
Yeah, I mean, Anne Rice brought us vampires and adventures. Well, me, vampires and adventures. Read a few Anne Rice back in the day.
I did. So when I was at San Diego Comic Con, I did go to a panel because they had the panels going on well into the evening
Hmm.
after the show floor ended. And so I went to a panel for a Kickstarter funded movie. It's called Bundy Manor.
Oh.
And the cast and crew were there, and I found it really inspirational. Like
Hmm.
this writer director made a movie. He crowdfunded $62,000, uh,
Wow.
and just made a movie. And they rented all professional equipment, and they hired their and they basically the budget was for the film equipment and like catering and stuff like that, and they filmed on like all the kind of like free locations, and I'm sure the actors weren't really paid very much out of
Right.
with that small thing, but they made it in like 15 days. And I saw the trailer. They debuted the trailer for Bundy Manor. There, it was made in Utah, and it just looked cool. And it was like
Interesting.
what you can do on like a small budget and kind of put together a movie. It was
Oh
I don't know.
yeah.
To me, it was really cool.
I mean, we've seen what small budgets can do. Friday the 13th, Halloween, these movies had very tiny budgets at $300,000, and they were able to create cult classics that everybody knows who Jason is. Everybody knows who Michael is. They don't even have to see the movie. All they have to do is see the mask and they know who he is. So I mean, yeah, some awesome movies have been made on very small budgets.
Yeah, Blair Witch,
Yeah.
Paranormal Activity.
Yeah.
Those are tiny budget movies.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's, Jason Risen is a fun fan made film, and it's got some really good actors in it. Vincent DeSantis in it. James Sweet, who is the director. Vincent DeSantis is the co-director, and it has a zombie Pamela. Pamela rises from the grave. Definitely, it's a fun film if you're interested.
Nice.
There was a fan-made film I watched earlier this year. It was a family that made a Halloween fan film from their iPhone. That was a lot of fun. It was really cute to see. It was a whole family project. So the kids were involved, the mother and the father were involved, and they used their iPhone to film the whole thing. Another good fan-made film. iPhone.
Yeah, well, that's crazy, like how good the phones are getting. Like Steven Soderbergh made a theatrical movie that was, he filmed it all on his iPhone.
Yeah. It's amazing what camera phones can do nowadays and what kind of quality they can bring out. And I agree, Harjar, it's really sad, the tornadoes that's been happening in the States. That's insane and crazy. Lives lost and property damage. It's insane. I hope there's a lot of people that are surviving it. And Night of the Living Dead was one too. Hey Shane, how are you? I'd love to see a spoof where Jason comes to Canada and everyone starts shooting pucks at him. Pucks. Right? That would be funny. Jason goes to Canada. That could be made, Cyril. You have a Jason costume, don't you? We can get you to play as Jason. You can go to one of the hockey rinks that we have around here. Well, I don't think any of them are open besides the ones that are in parks because I don't think it's cold enough yet. Well, at least not here. It hasn't been cold enough to open up ice rinks. You said you lived in Nanaimo at one point.
I did, yeah.
So did I.
I went to Dover Bay Secondary.
Yeah. I lived there. I lived there in my adult years. How was it? 2005 to 2012. I actually like Nanaimo. I like Vancouver Island. It's just really busy now.
I like Vancouver Island. It's pretty. It rained a lot though. Like I think one year it rained like close to 300 days out of the year. It's like,
it
geez.
Does. It rains quite a bit there, and if it snows, it closes down.
Yeah, no, because no one has winter tires, so they don't know how to.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
they're not capable of handling the situation.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. Nanaimo, when I was living there in the 90s, at the time, I believe it had the highest crime rate in all of North America, like per capita.
Oh, wow.
We had our house broken into like 3 times in like 3 years.
Shit. Yeah, see, when I lived there, and I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, I did have my car stolen for the first time ever. But yeah, holy shit. We moved here to Alberta because my husband Heavy was offered a job here, and so we moved here.
I went back to Nanaimo when my daughter was just born. We went on like a little trip to the island, and we went to Bouchard Gardens in Victoria. I went to the Empress Hotel and had the tea and all that sort of stuff with my newborn and stuff. And we went to Nanaimo and showing my wife like kind of where, this is where I went to high school. This is where I lived. And we're downtown and we went out on like a dock, like there's like a marina sort of thing. And these 2 women start fighting on the dock, and they like broke bottles, like to fight with like broken glass bottles, daylight.
That sounds like Nanaimo.
Yeah, and we're just stuck on the dock, right? Because it's like we can't. There's no way out. Like like I
No.
guess we could swam. Like,
Yeah.
so we're just like waiting at the end of the dock for this fight to like resolve itself. And it's like Jesus. This. I'm like, oh Nanaimo, I remember you.
Yeah, yeah. There has been very remember nights in Nanaimo, even daytime. Have you ever been to the Dingy Dock pub, which is on Protection Island? So you take the little dinghy boat over to Protection Island, and there's a restaurant pub there. So good if you ever go back to Nanaimo.
Oh yeah, no, I was there when I was in high school, so I didn't really go to like any bars or pubs, but
Yeah.
I do remember Protection Island, so pretty, and
Yes. Nice little tiny island. You take a dinghy there. The restaurant, it's a restaurant and a pub. Really good fish and chips. Really good fish and chips. I think the best out there.
oh, what was the name of that? Like there was like a little island that was. It wasn't really like an island because there was like a
Gabriola?
land. Gabriola. No,
No, because
not
Gabriel is.
Gabriola. No.
There's a few little islands out there. There is Protection Island, which is tiny, like it's literally tiny. I think what else? Gabriola.
Well, in Nanaimo there was like a little place. It wasn't really an island, like because there was like a little land bridge out to it.
Oh,
Yeah, and you could hike around it in like half an hour, 40 minutes. I love that spot. I'd go there like all the time.
I think what the hell is that? I can't think of the name. Never touch another hose crack spoon. That's basically what it is in downtown Nanaimo. Downtown. So Nanaimo is a port. Is a port city for people who don't know. It's a Vancouver Island is a little island, and Nanaimo is one of the port cities there. And it's very transient, and it's warm there for the most part all year round. So you do get a lot of transients and homeless people that will flock from the mainland to Nanaimo because the weather is very mild there. Well, it used to be very mild. It rained quite a bit. And so, yeah, there was a point where Nanaimo had a high crime rate. I know when we lived there, I was comparing crime rates to the different cities in Canada because we were looking at where to move. And Nanaimo was on par where we were currently at. So I was like, well, let's move to Nanaimo. And my husband's family's there. Why not? And it really wasn't bad there. We came to Alberta. Yes, and Alberta has been fun.
Yeah, I don't want to crap on Nanaimo too much. I had a lot of good times
No,
there
there's
too.
a lot of good times in Nanaimo, but it is a transient port. I mean, there's nothing you can really control about it. It's a great little place if you're ever looking to travel anywhere and see. Nanaimo, Parkland, Parksville, Qualicum, what's the other one?
Chemainus.
Yeah, Chemainus, and
With all the murals everywhere. Yeah, it's a really
Tofino
pretty
is
town.
really nice.
Yeah, so I remember like being in high school and I'd go out to Curious Comics, which was in the mall there. And there was
Yes.
another comic book store. I don't know if it's still there. It used to be on like Lois Lane, like downtown. That was the name of the road, was Lois Lane. And there was a comic book store down there too. That was great. But Curious Comics is where I got my books like every week. And
Yeah.
I remember like back in the 90s, it wasn't like cool to be a nerd, like at all.
No, it was not.
No, and so like I had to buy my comics, and they'd give it to you in like a brown paper
Yes.
bag, like a bottle of booze sort of thing, and I'd kind of like sneak out and
And
hope
you'd
like
slink out of the. Yeah, I know, because now it's so cool to be a nerd. Where back in the day you were beat up and bullied, you were made fun of, and now it's like the cool thing to do. It's like, shit, how come I wasn't the popular kid back in the day then?
Yeah, no,
I think Curious Comics is still there. They're Rutherford Mall. Every time we go out to visit, we try to get out there every couple of years to visit family. And we go to a comic book store in Rutherford. I think it's Curious Comics. A small
they're
little
still
comic
there.
shop.
Yeah, and they do like they bring in my books, which is cool.
That's awesome.
And yeah, and they do like a convention actually in the mall.
Yes.
So I'd like to kind of go check that out one time.
Yeah, no, that would be cool. I'd like to. I get a lot of my every time I go there, they have comics that here they don't have them. I mean, we have a comic book store that opened up about a year ago, and he's pretty big, and he does have quite a bit of a selection. But before that, we had a small one here, and they didn't really have a huge selection. So I got a lot of my Army of Darkness comic books from the little comic place in Rutherford Mall.
Oh, I should definitely shout out Red Skull Comics in Calgary.
Oh,
They're doing an exclusive cover for Cover of Darkness that's only available at Red Skull. So yeah, it's going to be limited to like 250 copies, and that's all that's ever going to be made. And they're doing original artwork. I forget the name of the artist. His name's Shane, I believe, and he's like a musician, illustrator, and yeah, they're doing like their own cover for it. It's only going to be available at their store. So
oh,
shout
interesting.
out to Kelly if he's watching. He's the shop owner there.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
we're doing a few exclusives where they're kind of like collectibles and stuff like that, where
That's
they're
smart.
very limited as to far as how many are made.
Right. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'll have one for myself. Actually, I'm doing a fan expo exclusive, and so they'll only be available at the fan expo
Right.
conventions. So, and it's going to be a small print run too, like 250 copies of that.
That's really
But
cool. Really cool. And Hardjar, yeah, going to the comic book store every week. And then slinking out of there so you don't get seen. Yeah, I was like going into an adult shop. Yeah.
yeah, it was a lot of ways.
Yeah, right?
Also in Calgary, there, my co-writer Chris Cam, she will be doing some in-store signings
Oh,
in
nice.
Calgary and in Edmonton. Yeah, so when the book comes out in January, if you follow on her Instagram is at Cam Crystal, Christal, like Crystal. So at Cam Crystal is my co-writer, and yeah. So if you want to get your book signed by the co-writer of Cover Darkness, you can do that in
Oh,
Calgary.
that's awesome. Awesome. I will definitely hit you up for her actual Instagram because I'll add it to the links at below. So once this VOD is processed by YouTube, I'll edit the down below and I'll add her links to it and any other links that you may have or want to shout out just so people can, when they do watch it, they can actually check it out. Right, Serial. So Red Skull is on Center Street, right beside Mike Tattoo Shop. Oh, nice. Yeah, I would like to have Mike tattoo me if I can ever get out to Calgary. I live in the cleavage of Alberta. So I'm in between Calgary and Edmonton. And if you look at it, it is the cleavage of Alberta. Uh, what day? Is there a specific date for Red Skull Comics where she'll
Oh,
be?
for,
Or what your
I don't know
release?
yet. No.
Okay. And the
Yeah,
release, do you know
so
the
just
release date of your comic?
yeah, the book will be in stores January 19th. Yeah, so yeah, and again, I'll do my pitch one last time. If you guys,
Go for it.
I'll keep it short. So, Cover Darkness is like Game of Thrones meets Universal Monsters. It's about a family in medieval Romania. They get separated from each other. Oh no, right? And they encounter vampires, werewolves, the mummy, creature from the Black Lagoon, and Frankenstein. And one thing that's really fun about it is within our family, we've got twin shape-shifting boys that can turn into animals. So you get gorillas fighting werewolves. It's insane. Yeah, so it's being published by SourcePoint Press in stores January 19th. And that's what I do at conventions about 1,000 times a weekend.
Uh, yep, and I just wrote it out there, January 19th, 2022. Make sure you pre-order Cover of Darkness just because if you go there, you may not have a copy of it. So you're going to want to call your local comic book store and see if they can pre-order you Cover of Darkness. Now, I know one of my friends in the UK was able to pre-order Resilient, if I have that name correct, that comic book when you had you last time on the show.
Yeah, yeah. I'm excited for more Resilient to come out soon, hopefully. The publisher's been having lots of problems with printing and shipping things like that, but I know that they're working on Kickstarter fulfillment right now. The book's made it out to stores for issue one,
Nice.
but the Kickstarter is still being fulfilled. Yeah, and we're hoping once we have issue one fulfilled, then we'll we'll go on to issue
On
2.
to issue 2. Yeah, well, I know shipping is crazy everywhere. Everywhere is having issues with shipping, so understandable in the times that we're in, right?
I guess so. If everybody else can use COVID as an excuse for for things being late, I guess I can too.
And well, yeah, for the most
But
part.
honestly, guys, it's not me. My books are like I've made those books.
Right.
Yeah, those books have already been written and drawn. It's kind of on the publishing end to get them there. So that's from Absolute Comics Group, my series Resilient, as when I was on in the spring
Yes.
talking to you about that one.
Yes, you were. Yeah. I did like your cover of Darkness, the one that I bought at the Comic-Con. So I'm actually going to call my comic book store and see if they can pre-order me a copy of that, because I enjoyed Cover of Darkness. I like it. I just had that comic book out too, because I read it, a graphic novel, more than a comic book. It's a graphic novel more than it is a comic book. I just had it out. I don't know what the hell I did
Yeah,
with
so
it.
what you got for me was the first 3 issues collected.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, which is what I was selling at like conventions quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for this new one too. I'll have to add it to my collection.
Yeah. No, it was fun to come on the show and kind of, I don't know. I just thought, sometimes I feel like I'm always selling the what's the expression? I'm always selling the cookie, and I should be selling the fortune. You know what I mean? Just kind of hang out and have fun.
Sure.
And so I tried to, try and do the monster movie list and or horror list and just kind of hang out more instead of always this hard sell all the time. So So I hope if people kind of like me and kind of like the concept out there, they'll check out the book. And I'm living my dream. I've always wanted to make comic books ever since I was a little kid. So I'm thrilled to be doing it for a career. And thank you for having me on your show to help kind of get the word out on it.
Of course, it's always nice having you on the show, and it's always nice to do your dream job. This is what I love doing, what I'm able to do here with Coffee Chat of Horrors. I like creating content. I like creating content in the horror realm. So this gives me the ability to do that. So I definitely feel you on that, and it's nice to get the word out for independent horror people, because we don't have the AAA titles behind us. We don't have the huge budgets. We don't have all of that behind us. It's just us. We do all the work. We are our own marketing, our own IT, our own everything. So if we can help each other out in the industry, why not?
Yeah, well, and that's the thing too, is like James Wan was starting off with like Saw, super small budget independent movie, and now he's which was great. And it was like his cool kind of indie stuff. And now he's bringing us like movies like Malignant, like we were talking about, which is, like having that kind of big budget, like horror movie that's from like a true fan of the genre. It's just so cool, and
for sure.
So, yeah, I think it's important that we kind of support each other in horror and kind of help grow things. And when you find something that's good, tell people about it, I think is the biggest thing.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think a lot of people get worried about coming off as a salesman, but you know what? You have to come out here and be like, this is what I'm doing, this is what we're creating. If you're interested, and do exactly that. Of course, we don't have that stuff behind us, and everything is done on our own. So to support each other within the horror community or the comic book community, it's really good. I can't do my dream job, not without having a real PhD. What is your dream job, Serial? But yes, if you could get me the variant cover from Red Skull, that would be awesome. Because I don't know when I'll make it out to Calgary.
They'll have some copies. Yeah, they'll have some copies. Like 250 books is that's a good amount for one store to order in.
Right.
So yeah, you'll be able to get those.
Hardcore wants to know, have you watched any of the Merkins? You know who the Merkins are?
I don't even know what that is.
Okay, well, don't Google Merkin, because a Merkin is a wig for the pubic area. But there is a group of guys. They are called. There's a group of guys on YouTube. They're called the Merkins, and they are a group of people who dress up as slashers, and they're called the Slash Street Boys, and they do parody songs of like Adele, and Ghostface has "Call You from the Other Side," which is an Adele song, but written for Ghostface. If you are a Scream fan, this mask right here came from "Call Me Sydney," which is one of the Merkins videos where Ghostface dresses up and calls Sydney and does a whole song about it. So definitely go and check them out. They are hilarious. Roy Burns is one of the leaders of the Merkins. He goes live on his channel as well with Freddy Krueger. And they have everything. They have Pinhead, Ghostface, Michael. They just dropped a new video, Chop It Up to Pump It Up. Pump Up the Jam. That's Chop It Up. Or Motley Crue's Kill Kill Kill. Oh, Motley Crue's original song, but they're doing Motley. They did it as Kill Kill Kill, and it's Jason Voorhees with a bedazzled mask. It's friggin' awesome.
All right, I'm gonna have to check these out. So they're music videos, like parody music videos.
Yes.
And so they're on YouTube.
They're on YouTube. They're called The Merkins, and their band is called the Slash Street Boys, but their channel is called The Merkins. And then the Slash Street Boys are the band, and they have Ghostface, Michael, Jason. They have Pennywise, Pinhead, and Lament Butterfly is one of the lyricists. She's in the chat now. She's one of the lyricists for The Merkins. They are hilarious. They do from rap to ballad.
Get this visual in my mind.
Oh yeah, and it's funny. It's funny. Dear Mama is a good one. That's a Jason one. They just did a Vanilla Ice song, Ice Ice Baby, but it was Michael Myers mask done up to look like Vanilla Ice, and it's called Slice Slice Baby. They are also independent, and their fans back their videos. Without their fans, they were coming out with a video a year, and usually around October. And now with their fan base, and they're able to come out with more videos. And this year, I think we received a shit ton of videos this year, more than we received any other year. And they're all fan funded. They have their Patreon page, and I had Roy Burns on the show in April. Hilarious. They also have Bubba with a chainsaw. I think my chainsaw is sexy. So Bubba, Leatherface, is the countryside of the Slash Street Boys. So they have there's Friends with No Faces, but it's Friends in Low Places is the original song. I don't know the original song. I know the Merkins version. Friends with No Faces. One of my favorites. You have to go and watch them. You'll enjoy them. You definitely will enjoy them. All of their videos are on their YouTube channel. Yeah, she's one of the lyricists. Pixie is one of the lyricists. Yep.
That's really cool that they've been able to increase their content. That's one thing I'm a little bit nervous about with Cover of Darkness, is because we planned like this kind of big world, and like I'm telling your writer commenter there to start off small. Well, we didn't start off small. We planned this thing out for 18 issues, and so we're releasing it as 3 6-issue miniseries. And if issue 1 doesn't sell,
right,
what's going to happen to the rest of the series that we have planned to do, and we're currently working like way down the line on. But I did hear from the publisher that things are looking pretty good.
Yeah.
On the orders front, but yeah,
it's always nervous. It's always nerve-wracking, but big risks bring big rewards, right? If you're not willing to take that risk, you're not going to get that payoff. And anything you do, I do wish you the best of luck in that. And I'm definitely pre-ordering copies of Cover of Darkness, and I'm sure Pixie is as well, because she likes that kind of stuff too.
Awesome, thank you.
Of course. I know Chainsaw, yeah, the Chainsaw one. I think my chainsaw is sexy. I don't know the original song, but yeah, I
The
think
track, you're sexy. These are country songs.
yeah, so Bubba is all about
Right?
the countryside, but I don't know country songs. All I know is the Merkins versions of the country songs. I don't know what the original is. Um, Hardjar says, "Good luck. Hope sales are crazy."
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah.
What time is it? Is it getting? Oh, it is. It's getting to be about that time. Is there anything else you want to shout out or let us know about before we let you go to enjoy the rest of your
No.
Sunday?
Yeah, I'm having. Thanks for having me. I had a great time talking movies and ranking my top 18 horror
Yeah, it's
movies, and
awesome.
I got some new ones to watch too. So, yeah, thanks for having me on, and I hope to talk to you again.
Yes, thanks for coming on to the show and waking up so early on a Sunday because George is in BC, so they're an hour behind. So my 9:30 is his 8:30. So Serial Killer says, "Good luck, sir," and it was good chatting with you again. And yes, it was. It was really good having you on the show, George. I'm very happy you decided to come on the show again. Would love to have you on again in the new year, sometime in the new year, to talk about the after your book has been published and it gets out there, and after I have a time to read. Can't wait because I will definitely do a review on my channel for you as well and get the word out there on your cover of darkness.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, that'd be great.
Awesome. Any shout outs you want to do before we go?
Yeah, so you can follow at Cam Crystal on Instagram and at MJ Hiblin Arts and my publisher, SourcePoint Press.
SourcePoint Press.
They do a lot of horror content as well, so there might be some other books that you might be interested in.
Right on. I'm gonna have to go and check them out. I seen you tagged it in the Instagram post you did this morning, so I'm definitely gonna go and check them out as well. I like my horror comics. I like my horror books. I have a pretty decent sized collection of them. But yes, thank you so very much for being on the show. I hope you have a great rest of your Sunday. And I will definitely be keeping my eyes open on your Instagram page because that's where you're going to also do some updates as well. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Inside_comics_ is the Instagram. There is the link for George's Instagram. Make sure you're keeping an eye on that if you want to know more about updates on the upcoming comic book and graphic novel, and where he will be at Comic Cons, because we know 2022 is going to have a crap ton of Comic Cons.
Yes, I'm hoping to be in Calgary in April too. So.
Oh, nice, for the Calgary Expo.
Yes.
Right on. I don't know if I'll be there in April, but I'm definitely going to be there in June for the HorrorCon. I really love the HorrorCon that they put on in Calgary.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you very much, George. You have yourself a great Sunday. Bye. Thank you guys for being here. I do appreciate it. We're going to hit up into our ending scene. But I do appreciate it. Thank you for coming over here on your Sunday morning. Grandpa Cyrus, how are you? I hope you're doing well. Thank you, everybody on the YouTube side and Facebook side for joining us. I had a blast as usual, so thank you very much for being so awesome. Next Sunday, which is the 19th, is going to be a very special Sunday. We're going to be doing a Christmas horror CCOH, and then right afterwards, we're going to jump into a Christmas horror movie with the Silver Scream. So that'll be next Sunday, guys, if you want to join in. Same time, same place, right here. Sunday the 19th. Yep. Thank you, Joy Toy. Thank you, Hardjar. You're doing good, Grandpa. I'm glad you guys enjoyed the interview. I have a lineup of interviews coming in the new year. There's also going to be some upgrades and evolution of Coffee Chat of Horrors. So that'll be coming in January of 2022. And Silver Scream is going to be coming back on a monthly basis here on YouTube. It'll just be on YouTube, where we'll be bringing back a monthly viewing of horror movies, public domain, with information. So if you've never been to one of my Silver Screams, you're in luck, because in January we'll have our very first full-on Silver Scream. And that'll be coming back every month, once a month. Let me see, anything else? Monday morning, 11 a.m. Mountain Time, we're going to dive back into Days Gone. So we will be over on Twitch at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. You love the silver screen. I'm glad to bring back the silver screen. I've got some stuff up my sleeve. If I can get my green screen, there's going to be stuffs a coming. Dylan, thank you for being here. Mods, thank you very much for being here and doing what you do. Everybody lurking and chatting, thank you so much for taking the time out of your Sunday morning to come over here and hang out with me. And George, I really do appreciate that so very much. I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend and you can enjoy my end credits. I love you guys. Mwah. Thank you so very much for being here. I appreciate you.